anyways, okay. You guys, number 3 has one negative. There's only one. You can't assign the 2 negative and the I the negative. Either the 2 gets the negative, meaning the numerator, or the I gets the negative, which is the denominator. So you gotta choose which one gets the negative. So I'm just gonna give it to the 2, the top, okay? So if I want to get rid of the imaginary on the bottom, oh, I shouldn't have put that equal sign yet. I'm going to take whatever my denominator is and I'm going to multiply top and bottom, right? That's really what the key is. If you want to clean up your denominator, take what's in the denominator's position, multiply it top and bottom. And so what I get is I squared and negative 2i. However, I squared is not what we want. We're going to replace that with the negative 1 equivalent. So I get negative 1, and then a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so my answer is 2i. Good job, you two. Okay, what other one do you want to see before I get to like 9 and 10? 5? Okay. All right, whatever the denominator is, if it's only one term, you just multiply by exactly what the denominator is. Okay, so now I get 64i squared, right? Okay, here you need to distribute. Distributive property. 4 times 8i is 32i. 8i times i is 8i squared. Okay, but we do not want the I squared. We're going to replace it with the equivalent negative 1, right? And then multiply, which means you switch the sign. So this is going to go to a negative 1, and this is going to go to the negative 1, right? So I end up with 32i minus 8 and negative 64. Okay, technically you cleaned it up, but it's not in pretty a+bi form. Okay, so if you can get to here, you're good. You're like 90% there. You just haven't done the pretty cleanup. Okay? So I'm going to keep going, but don't get confused with the cleanup. This has an I. This is my real number. It should actually go first, right? Remember, it's a+bi form. Real number, then imaginary. Here I have imaginary real, so I'm switching it. Bless you. Okay, now the negative 64 is on the bottom. Okay, if you can get your answer to here, you're wonderful. However, you can do more if you have a calculator and you're willing to. Remember, this can also be written as negative 8 over negative 64 and positive 32 over negative 64. Can I take that denominator and split it between the real and the imaginary part? Okay, remember, this is kind of extra. Okay, so like here, happy face, you're good. Okay, so grab that in a calculator. This comes out to, right, and no shame, grab a calculator. There's your fraction button. Negative 8, negative 64, and I get 1 over 8. Or you could change it to a decimal. Good, we'll just write it all. Okay, now come to the next one. What's 32 divided by 64? And I get negative 1/2, which is 0.5. And that is also an equivalent. These are the same. One is in decimal, cleaned up, complex number form. This one is a really good cleanup. But like I said, if you gave me this on a quiz or a test, obviously it's not tomorrow, you would get most of the credit for this. This is the pretty cleanup of real number, imaginary part. But then this is, you take the decimal, you take the denominator and you transfer it to a real decimal, imaginary decimal. You want me to give you time to work on some of them? Just kind of be quiet now? Yeah? Okay, I'll be quiet. But I'm going to hit stop, so it's going to disappear. So tell me when you're done writing. You're done? Okay, sweet.